Uh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? It's another week.
Another week, man.
Man,
Yeah.
I guess we bringing the storm to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
We're bringing it.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Hey, before we get started, man, I really want to send my thoughts and prayers for those out to those who are affected. We had some craziness going on here in Jacksonville this past weekend, man, and I mean it saddens my heart. I was even at the visual, seeing the family. It's definitely heartbreaking, man. So we got to end this racism, man. It's got to go, man. So I just want to say that, man, because definitely important, hitting close to home.
So from the podcast, Real Talking Real Estate, we want to send our condolences to those families out there that are in mourning. Our heart goes out to you. Our prayers goes out to the family. So, and all over Jacksonville, all over the country, actually.
Absolutely.
Well, good stuff, man.
Yeah,
listen, man. This is gonna be a good show tonight.
Yeah.
We on episode, what is it, episode 19?
I think this is 20.
Is it 20? So Demi about to make that 20?
This is 20. Is 20. Yeah, man. This young lady, man, she was able to fill in real quick, and we was like, man.
I already had the podcast ready to rock and roll with another name, and then at the last minute another name came through. I said, what is this? But I did my research, and man, she couldn't have picked a better guess.
Absolutely, man. Hey, let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and introduce this young lady. Hey, so she is not just a realtor, she's a local St. John's expert. She's from the area, and she's known the history. She known when St. John's County was just some cornfield. She probably remembers when 295 did not connect. It ended at like South Side or Bay Meadows area. I remember that back in the day. And so she knows about the history, the present, and the future development in the community, and it's elevated quality to have as an agent. She's the person that now knows the ins and outs of how to market your home, knowledge of value of your home, and most importantly, have connections in and throughout the community. Now, a little bit about her background and who she is. She's a wedding planner. She was a wedding planner for 4 years, and she absolutely loved it. We're going to talk about that as well. She loves meeting new people, helping them create beautiful and memorable life events. Building relationships with my clients means the world to me, and getting to watch their family grow in the following years is the best feeling. When she moved on to the new season of life as a realtor, we're going to talk about that transition and how she wanted to cultivate a new type of realtor, one that is relationship based and not transactional based. Man, that's really important. So let's bring her to the podcast, Miss Demi Judd.
Demi Judd, yeah. We need to have some clappers or something. We need to have some balloons dropping, some clappers, some bells or something. We need to have it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Is it Judd or Jude?
Judd or Jude?
It's Judd.
Judd.
Yeah.
Like Ashley now?
Yeah, just like the Judds. I have a very famous name with Demi Moore and the Judds.
Yeah, gotcha. So you famous. You real famous.
I am.
I like it. You're a big deal. I like it. Good stuff. Well, listen.
Go ahead, jump into it, man.
Hey, listen, we got a short show, and sometimes these shows just go so fast, and I know the show's going to be packed with a lot of great information tonight. You are a superstar. You are doing some amazing things right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Go ahead and just tell us, who is Demi? Give us that overview.
Demi's a mom. Demi's a local. 2 things she can't change. But I'm also a real estate agent. So I really pride myself in, I'll say all 3 of those when people ask me what I do. So then it adds credibility, but also says I'm a real person. Like, I have 2 kids. I know what it's like. And just coming to that level of relation before what I do, because what I do is also who I am. And that's how I sell homes. And so really just being like, hey, I'm a local, so you know that you're in good hands, and I know literally the alpha and omega of St. John's County, and having that reassurance, but also as a mom, when families are moving from out of state, just to have that comfort, like, hey, how do you like it? You know, you're raising your kids here, you were from here. And then as a real estate agent, just being able to think of the future for them and their kids and their stuff. So Demi Judd, she's pretty cool. She's a good mom. She loves her kids. She loves Disney. She loves what she does. I'm very happy for where I am.
I love it.
Good. So how long you been in the business?
I got my license 2 years ago this month.
Okay.
Wow. So what was it? Let's get that backdrop. So what was your backdrop? So kind of catch us up until the point when you decided real estate is going to be my career and that's going to be the thing that's going to make us some money.
That was funny. It was postpartum. I just had my daughter, and my husband was like, hey, I'm going to go to school and get my real estate license. And I just started thinking, and I was like, I don't think you should get your license. And I was like, I can do that. And I was like, and I think I could do it well. And I was serving at the time because I was wedding planning, had my daughter, didn't have time for all that. So I was serving. And I was like, okay, I've been in customer service since I was 13. Like, I can definitely do this. Got my license and just jumped full into it and trying to figure out. My main thing is, ever since I've been young, I don't want to do something else that someone else is doing. I want to do things my way, and I want to do them. It just has to be Demi. Like, Demi has to be sprinkled on it. So even though something may work for someone else, how could I demify it where I could make it work for me that's unique? Because at the end of the day, we're the product. So yeah, I just literally, I jumped in, got my license. I had a bunch of people telling me I should do it. It seemed it looked actually really good because this is like August 2021. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, these people like making money. And then I was like, oh, this market is not what it was last year. And everyone's like, oh, you got in at a good time. And I was like, do you actually know what was happening in the real estate market? I was like, that was when we were going like weird. And I was like, and I'm seeing the seasons now of where it goes and how to adjust based on that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You were a wedding planner before this career, though, right? Walk us through that wedding planning. What made you get into that? How did you transition?
So what made me get into it? I left college. I have a marriage counseling degree within my theology degree, and I was like, I want to do weddings. Like, I love all the pretty stuff, the designing, all of that. Absolutely loved it, but I was getting married at the time and I didn't have time for that. So I was like, I'm focusing on my own wedding and my own family. I became a mom. My son is 4 when I met him. And so I couldn't do that. I couldn't do 100 hours a week and weekends gone.
Got it.
Now I work more than that, but I'm at least home some weekends.
Sure.
But yeah, and the transition was this just makes sense.
Okay.
I had my husband supporting me with health. Like, we had literally everything, like health insurance was taken care of and everything. I was like, we just need to do it. Like, there's nothing different from this and like wedding planning besides I have more time on my hands. It's relationship building and networking at the end of the day.
Gotcha. So I want to take it back a little bit further than that. So all my guests, I like to do a little research on them. And so talk to me about this Calvary Chapel Bible School. So I know you got your degree, but you went to a Bible school. Tell us how that happened.
I graduated high school and I wanted to be a pediatric oncologist. And yeah, I was very dedicated. I did a summer over in Nemours and cried my eyes out and realized I couldn't do it. And so I was in state college and I was like, I really hate this. Like, I'm like, this is just not my cup of tea. It was probably, I think, a debate with me and my history teacher, where I was backing up the Bible and he's like, that's just written by man. I was like, so is this history book. Like, I was just like so frustrated. And I was like, how is that different? And so I decided, I was like, I think I'm going to go to Bible college. And I was like, I know that I love that topic. Like, I can't go wrong with that topic. Went to Bible college, met some of the best people I've ever met in my life and people who are basically family now. And while I was there, I decided that I wanted to do the marriage counseling route and go to counseling and like help people and how to help people. And so I went to Calvary Chapel Bible College. It was great. And I got to travel. I studied abroad for a semester and it really helped me learn people.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a great experience. I loved it.
All right. Okay.
That's
So
good.
now at the Bible college, you got a marriage license. So did you come from a really faith-based family, or was that
Yes. My
Mhm.
background, I've loved Jesus my whole life.
okay?
But
I love baby Jesus.
it's great. But yes, I was raised in a Christian home,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a lot of opportunities here in Jacksonville. There's Youth Quake Live. So
Okay.
I was heavily involved with that as a high school student. And then when I was in college, I also was an intern. I became the intern director after I graduated from Calvary and came here. And so definitely like it's been every part of my entire being.
Okay.
And yeah, so I think that's what makes me a little bit different when people are like, there's something about you. And then I find out like when I can, because you have to be very cautious nowadays.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
And they're like, man, they're like, what church is close by? I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I love Jesus. Like, I was like, now I can tell you, like, you open the door,
Right.
same boat right here.
Right. That's good.
Got you.
That's good.
Yeah.
Got you.
That's good.
So
Now,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I know you said that your husband at one point thought about getting his real estate license. That was
Yes.
the Michigan. Did he end up deciding not to do it, or?
Yeah, he ended up not doing it. So it just made sense. My husband has type 1 diabetes. And so he's like, I'm the sick one. I deserve to have to pay for the healthcare. And he knew, like, he's like, what we imagined for where my real estate career would be, we did not imagine this. Like, it was
wow.
just, he's like, because all of our friends gave us the horror stories
Sure.
of, oh, you're going to be broke for 3 years. And I was like, okay. I was like, that sounds like fun. And then to really just see like where, you know, I just took off and we're just like, whoa. And I was like, this was supposed to happen. We have talked about him getting it again. And possibly like just having a license for, we want to do, so my real estate like fund name is Judd Sold. We're going to do investment properties that are Judd's listed. So like we have our Judd's book it. And so we have all these different like avenues that I would love for him to have his license for that.
You and I are connected actually in one of our investment groups. I don't know if you knew that or not. One of the
I
investment
did.
groups. Yeah, go back. You'll look at. We actually spoke in one of the investment groups. So go back and look at that.
Okay, I have to.
So that's one of my research. Like, oh, we've been speaking. That's pretty cool. That's good stuff. That's good. So to walk us through that first year. You only been in the business for a couple years.
Mhm.
Walk us through that first year. Was it with one of the big box brands, or walk us
I
through
did
that?
not. I interviewed some big box brands. But again, I was very, I mean, I just came from wedding planning, so I liked things to look a certain way. And that, you know, that logo makes my logo pop or not pop. And I also didn't want to get recognized because, oh, I'm with this brokerage. Like, so now, like, it's like a second thought for people.
Mhm.
They're like, oh yeah, Demi Judd Realtor. They don't care where I go. They're like, oh yeah, where are you at? Like, they don't even care. Like, it's just I'm the product now, not my brokerage or where I was. But I went with Red Zone Realty is where I started. Very small brokerage. There was like 55 of us. And I liked it because I just had a baby and my daughter was at trainings with me. Like that was reality. Is she was behind me. She was great and she was awesome, but she was right behind me and I had to be a mom. And so the first year, I mean, I started in August, started going to all the trainings. I was trying to get everything I can. I was meeting with other agents that I know were top producers. And I'm like, how? Like, how did you do this? And that really taught me, even at a young start to my career, smoke and mirrors in this industry and to read through it, because anytime I like someone and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I fangirl, I'm like, let me do a little bit of digging though. And so then I do some digging and I'm like, okay. And I was like, one, they're just human. That's one thing. But then also like, how is that someone I want to replicate my business after? Do I want to be the smoke and mirrors, or do I want to be like real and like
That's good.
quality?
Gotcha.
So, but that was the first year. I mean, I didn't even, nothing really. I just focused on marketing. And I was door knocking, hosting every open house I could. I didn't even have my first sale until I joined as a team too. So like I didn't go as a single agent. I started off on a team and then I switched teams 4 months after my license, and I had my first buyer, and I closed that. And then
within the first 4 months or first 5, 6 months? What?
it was like the 4th month.
Okay.
It was because I switched the team. My team lead gave me a lead so that I could work it and actually learn how to do my job. Yeah. Right. And then nothing. And then I found out that social media is where I flourish. And some lady was selling her stuff on SwipSwap, and she's like, have to clean out the house and getting a divorce. And I was like, hey, if you ever need a friend, let me know. Became her friend, ended up getting her as a listing. And just like from SwipSwap. And so I'm like, oh, people like me online. Okay. And then the first year we switched brokerages. I went over in March of 22 to Momentum Realty, where I'm at right now. And I've been there since. In June, I became a solo agent. I left my team and went on my own and spread my little wings. And I caught the air, and I popped off as soon as I went on my own. I got I think I was number 5 or 6 in my brokerage that month after I left. So that was my first year. It was a wild ride.
Speak on that just a little bit. I don't know if you have a question, Maurice, but
no, go ahead.
Speak on that real quick. You said that you were on a team and then you decided to go solo.
Correct.
Why the transition? If it's not negative, we don't want to hear the negative.
It's not negative.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No. Why the transition? What was the mindset?
It's that thing in the beginning, like I mentioned about the brokerages. Like I wanted to do something on my own. My whole entire church one time was going on a missions trip, and everyone was going to South Africa. And I was like, I don't want to go with everyone. I want to go to Zambia. So I picked a completely off the wall thing because I wanted my adventure. I wanted to be able to make my own failures and learn from them.
Got it.
And I felt like that was the only way to do it, was literally to jump.
That's good.
And that's what I did. And I wanted to market better. So the trajectory of where I wanted my business to go, I knew having my own set and how I wanted to do things was going to work, or it was going to fail, and I would have came back humbly. But I had to take that leap. So it wasn't negative at all. Actually, we're all great. We all love to watch each other's success. But it was terrifying. I remember crying, thinking that I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And then that next month I was like, oh, I do. Okay, we got this.
That's good.
Gotcha. So now I want to go back for a second. So you talked about coming from a really faith-based home, and you went to Bible college. So how have you brought that faith into your real estate business, and what have you done? What are the things you've done with your faith other than having a conversation? How have you applied it in your business?
Honestly, I've kind of done it's the way I run my business, honestly. Okay. So that's the end of the day of what it is. And so the way that I respond to people, this was a really cool opportunity I had. I have a seller I just got a listing from, and she's going through a lot. And so I really saw she was just down, and she's like, we're going to counseling, we're doing this. And I was like, I want to help you in any way I can. And I was like, you don't have to call me as a real estate agent. If you really need something, this is my background, let me pray for you. And I was like, anything you need. In my listing box that I drop off before our meetings, I dropped it off and I put a devotional in it. And so just little things of I have clients who buy new builds, and even if they love Jesus or not, they have scripture written in their home. And so during the drywall stage, I want to make sure I'm just taking care of my clients, whether I'm able to verbally say something. Typically they do ask, not are you a Christian, but just what makes you different? Why do you do things like this? So just in my everyday business as much as I can without, it's sad because so many people have sometimes bad taste in their mouth about different things. The same thing about real estate agents. Before, back in the day, I was like, God, I never want to be a real estate agent. They're scummy. I just it was that taste. And then I was like, but hold on. What if the food I was given was wrong? And I was like, because that's not the thing. I could be different. And I just posted a video on it. So many agents are cashiers. They just take this as a transaction and you're gone. No one's gonna just like, oh, my favorite Target cashier. Like no one's gonna. I mean, I know mine, but that's different. Like I know everyone who works at Target because I go there late at night. But like our job is to be a physician. Like our job is to take care of our clients throughout their whole entire thing. Like our goal is obviously referral repeat. And so in order to do that, you need to make sure that you're caring for your clients, caring for that home as if you were a physician. And so, yeah, I use my faith in everyday life and building the relationship with the people and being more than just a realtor, being real, being a real tour.
Got you.
Being a real
tour. I like it.
Got you.
I like it.
So I want to go back to something else you said, the smoke and mirrors. Can you give us some more specifics of what those smoke and mirrors look like and what discoveries you made from those smoke and mirrors?
I mean, it's hard. This is a business of comparison. As women, we love to compare ourselves in general. Like social media does not help us with that. And of course, now you put on a whole new level of I'm super competitive.
Yeah.
Like I love it when I'm top. I'm like, I'm number one. Like, and I actually was number one 2 months ago, my brokerage. I told my broker if I was not number one, I was number two to not put me on the top 10. Like I was like, I don't want to be there if I'm not number one because I've already made the other ones. If I'm not there, don't even put me on there. So just competitive. But I just love like people would like, you know, promote or gloat all these sales or act like they're better than people. And it would all just be fake. Wow. And so it just was really disappointing. And like really finding that out was more of just asking, hanging out with them, learning who they are. And I'm like, oh, this is not reality. Or like, oh, they'll be like, oh, I closed this much. And I was like, your entire career. Like, and I'm like, hold on, you're making it seem like you closed it this year. Like, that's like, yeah, you've been in it for 5 years. You should do that much by now. Like, it just, you lived during the hype of everything. You should have made that much money.
Got you. So peeling back that onion really took the mask off and shows you what some of these agents are out here doing and really perpetrating, I would say, like they're doing more than what they really are.
Yeah.
Got you. And then I would say this for you, so you jump in, Chris. This is what this show is about. This is about real talk. Let's have a real conversation because that's the biggest thing that I see from agents. They think that they look a fangirl or fanboy, some agent, and when really in perspective, that agent's going through so many different trials, tribulations, and ups, downs, and they have no idea. But on the outside, look like they're just glowing. They're just living the great fun life of being in real estate.
Yeah. I mean, that's social media in general.
Yeah.
Because 100% I'll make a video and like life is going great, but it doesn't mean that we don't have ups and downs. Like there's times I made a video and turned it off and then like, I'm just going to cry for a second because I'm just overwhelmed with everything going on in life. And then like, I'm like, we're good. It's just reality. And there's been times when I literally am just like, I've got on my stories and I'm like, hey, I'm real. Like, no makeup on, telling you like, this is stressful. I understand that this market is hard, like, and not doing it as in like, just buy a home. Like, no, I get it. It's hard. Affordability is a problem, but renting your house is not going to fix your affordability issue. And so like trying to like help people and meet them, like, I get it. Like, or sharing my story of my humble beginnings of living with my parents for the first year and a half of marriage. Like it's just being a real person and people love that because it's sadly, it's so rare.
Right. Yes. Speaking of people perpetrating in the industry, was there anybody when you first got into the industry, was there anybody that you actually looked to that you decided that you want to pattern your career after? Was there anyone like that?
Not
the perpetrators, really. the real ones.
The real ones.
Not really. I mean, being in the industry, I ended up like loving someone and like following them. And now we're friends and like, it's really great. And it's fun to see like her success over the years. And she's like, you're exactly where I started. And she's like, it's just, your trajectory looks so different than what mine did. And so it's because obviously Instagram's different than, 2016. And so having the ability to do social media now, but not really, because I have so many friends in real estate. I have one friend that opened a brokerage right when I got my license. I have another one again. So like, there's so many of us that my main thing was to be myself and to make it work. I think one person, and she was actually my team lead. I love what she did, and I thought she was so pretty, and like I was like, oh, I just love everything she does. I guess that would probably be the one person, and that was like my first little bit there, just because it was so pretty. Like it was a shiny object that I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's doing well, she's selling, and she used to be a Jaguars cheerleader, so clearly she's beautiful. And so I'm like, wow. And I'm 5'3" and never like gonna be that tall. But it wasn't. It was just she knew what she was doing. I liked the content she was putting out. And I eventually found myself, if you look back on my social media, it was rough watching those videos. But I thought about deleting them. I was like, I want people to watch me grow. And I was like, and that's the main thing. And that keeps me real, where if you look at my videos, they're rough. And it looks like I honestly have confused myself in videos I've watched. I'm like, I don't even know if I helped a buyer. Like, I think I just confused him more. Right. And now I'm able to give the right product and the right content.
That's good.
Gotcha.
Well, you know, I have a question, Demi. So, Demi, in the real estate industry, it's an industry that's always evolving. It's constantly evolving. First question: what are some of the key trends that you see that are changing in our particular market here in Florida, and how are you adapting to better serve your clients during that process?
So right now, there's a couple, because it's different clients. So it's buyers and sellers are both different in like this changing, evolving market. Before, like, homes were on the market for 5 seconds and you could just live your best life. Now we're looking at, average of 51 to 75 days on market. And so with sellers, I've really been focusing on as much information as possible. And I've been giving them the perspective. I just sent a long email to one of my listings about, hey, here's what's going on in the market in Northeast Florida. Here's what's going on in the market in your neighborhood. That's like 4 miles, what an appraiser is going to look at. Here's how long they've been on market. Here's the people who are price dropping. Here's what a buyer's looking at right now for what they're paying for your mortgage. Would you want to pay that mortgage for your home? And like really like educating them. I'm like, hey, here's how we can strategize. So now there's like, instead of, oh, let's just price drop, let's just do this. I'm like, hold on, there's other things that are way bigger of an issue. I'm like, how can we strategize to help buyers? And in return, they're going to help you by offering you like an offer. And then buyers, I'm trying to help them in the sense of, I did a summer special where I was doing $1,000 to help them towards closing costs. And I was like, hey, I'll give you what I have. Like, I want you for like, not just because I'm trying to buy your like clientele, I'm trying to help you get into this home because this will help you in the end. Like, this is where you need to be. And one of the like other opportunities I've had is like from the bridal industry. I actually do bridal shows. So I have a friend who owns a bridal show, and I'm at every single one. And I call myself like the realtor homemaker for weddings. And I go there and I'm like teaching them about marriage or mortgage, which one like should you do, and what are the main, like I've sent emails to them on the importance of either purchasing before or after, or what their circumstances, ways to save for a home. So my main thing is like, I probably push more education right now with the changing market, and push more of, I like to call like house hacks or loopholes into the system, where it's like really just like giving education, like, hey, here's an interest rate buy down. Here's what you could do. I understand you're worried about your PMI and like having things like that and wanting to put 20% down. But what if you put 10% down and you use that money towards, and like really just educating them that it doesn't have to be an end all be all for something. First time home buyers don't only have to do FHA loan. They could do USDA loans, and like teaching them what that means. So my strategy has been more about how can I strategize with them? And then I've actually switched in a mindset because if Warren Buffett's going to be buying investment properties, that I'm educating my buyers who are first time home buyers, like, hey, in 2 to 3 years, let's talk. Let's see how much your home is worth. And I was like, you could do 2 things. You can grab a HELOC and you can use it as an investment property and put that as your down payment, and someone else can pay rent. And so like, I'm just literally strategizing to make them better, because I'm like, hey, if a big investor is doing this, what opportunity are you missing out on? Because he sees something way further, and obviously he's successful at what he does. How can I make you that successful as well to get you out of this circumstance?
Got you.
That's
Got
awesome.
you. So let me ask you something. So we've talked about your business and your strategies. Now I want to know something. So you're from the local area. You're from St. Johns County. Have you found it harder or easier to prospect for clientele? Do you find it harder because people know you, they really don't want you in their business, or have you found it easy to where everybody's like, "Oh, I love Demi, I want her to do my business"? How is that going for you as far as getting new clients and since you're from that local area?
Pretty well, actually. So like I've seen it where, and even online, like on, of course, everyone and their cousins putting like real estate, like I need a realtor, and they're like, here's a business card. And the way I approach it as saying I'm a local, a lot of my clientele, probably about 75% is out of state buyers.
Okay.
It's a huge thing. Because I don't only offer, hey, I'm a local. I know the area. I'm a mom. I'm also like, hey, because I'm a local, I have created a locals guide that breaks down the area from hospitals, pediatricians, any question you have from being out of state and not know who to call. I have vendors on there that they can call for like AC, pest control, security, anything like that. So I give them literally St. Johns County in a little pamphlet and say, here's everything you need to know. Like here's the daycares you should go to. So it has actually helped. I've had some friends, but I mean, everyone knows a realtor. Literally, if you don't know a realtor, you don't have friends, is what they like to say. But even my friends, like, I mean, I was at Home Depot the other day, and a kid from high school, he's like, hey, I'm watching you when we're ready to buy. Like I feel like there is a trust by being here.
Yeah.
But not everyone's ready to buy a home. I've only been in it for 2 years that I'm like, okay, I get it. I'll give you a few more years.
Yeah.
But I have had friends. I've had like lifelong friends buy properties from me. I've had people actually ditch their family realtor to go with me. And so I've seen that before, but yeah, it hasn't hindered me. It's actually helped a lot.
Gotcha.
It makes me more relatable a little bit for some out of state people and show them around.
Okay. Okay.
Walk us through your ritual, your daily routine. Walk us through that daily routine.
Well, it changes because I have a toddler. So whatever she chooses, my routine is. But typically, I like to go to local coffee shops. So I have this office that I'm 3 doors down from my parents. My house is too small. We've outgrown it. We're looking for a home. So I'm in the same market my buyers are. So that's how I'm relating to them as well.
Sure.
So I got this home office and I was so excited. And I was like, I like people. So I go to local coffee shops. I build relationships with coffee shop people, and I get to talk to people downtown St. Augustine because that's where the coffee shop I go to is.
Okay.
And so I go there and I work. And my first steps is mainly I have Boomtown. So I go through all my Boomtown leads because they give me leads, and then also I just follow up with people. I see who I need to follow up with. I do a little bit of research to see what everyone's doing out there. I recently have finally listened to everyone telling me I need to do YouTube, and started prepping for that and how I'm going to kind of email blast that out and how I can better add value to people on YouTube. Like actually what is out-of-state buyers looking for, not I'm a realtor in St. Augustine, and like give more like just things that everyone's doing that's blasting it, more of the actual questions people are Googling. So I do my research, and then it depends on the week. So I have a bridal show coming up next week. Typically after my bridal show, I text my people, it was great meeting you. They get an email 2 days later, and then they get a card in the mail that said, save the date. And so like, depending on what events I've done that weekend, I've been doing a lot of open houses. So it's a lot of text going out, emails of listings that are in the area, similar to what they saw at the open house. And then follow up with a phone call by the end of the week.
Gotcha.
Like
So are you using the bridal shows to do some prospecting?
I am.
I love it.
I love it.
They love me because, my husband thinks it's on accident. I'm just like, oh my gosh, no one's able to help me with it. And so I use them to prospect because I already have the trust built with the vendors because I've already done it. They love to know that I have a wedding planning background. And then also me and my husband are young enough. We're going on 5 years of marriage next year.
Okay.
So like we're pretty newlyweds, and being able to share our experience through that and how to save money and how to develop like just wealth, because I feel like we weren't taught that as kids. Like our generation just wasn't taught that. You took economics and have a good day. But not like true, like how, especially in like millennials are struggling. And it's sad because millennials are so different. Like we have such an age gap. Like the younger ones, I don't consider them millennials. But it's just so different, everything that's happened and everything we're going through and like how to help. And so marriage is the best one. And one of the main issues with marriages is finances. It's kids and finances that cause most of the issues in marriages. And if I could be there to help make sure that finances is not an issue, that's my goal.
Got you.
That's good.
So Demi, I'm asking one more question, Chris. So you've only been in the business 2 years, and you've talked about some days you just shoot a video and you just cry because of certain things that have just overwhelmed you. So how have you been able to get past those moments of vulnerability to where things aren't going well? I mean, things are just falling by the wayside, or things are just on fire, and it's like the kids are screaming. You got to try to sell a house. You got a bridal show coming up. How are you getting over those things that you have happen on a daily basis or in your daily life?
Honestly, I have a very good support. My husband's amazing.
Okay.
We're similar in a lot of ways in our humor, but in our personalities, I am like high. Like there could be a candle lit in the room and I'm like, the house is gonna burn down. And he's like, it's a candle. And so like our personalities are different in that, and it's very helpful because I'll feel like my world is crumbling, and I've gotten better about it now. Everyone's always like, there's balance, and you need to do balance and find the balance. Once I said that there's no such thing as a balancing, it's not a scalable thing to balance. I kind of just look back and I'm like, okay. And I say that there's two Demis, like for people when they're like, I was like, there's one that's logical. Like she gets it and she understands. And then there's the one that's going to freak out and be like, what's going on? And I'm like, okay, wait, like with the market changing, how can I handle it? And how do I handle it? I'm freaking out because my listings are sitting on and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I just like feel like I'm like falling into anxiety. I was like, wait, my sellers are happy. I'm communicating. I'm doing my job. And literally I just talk through myself through the successes that is happening and the positive that's happening. And so that's how I kind of talk myself down. But mainly my support system has been really helpful. And I know some people don't have that. But even just writing down like, hey, like here's like, I mean, I thought it was so stupid. My friend was doing it and I started doing it, and just writing down things that I'm grateful for and that's succeeding right now in real estate and what's personally succeeding. So then it's not like that's my version of how I was balancing it. It was like, okay, personally, what have I grown in? What can I grow in? And then what's going on? What kind of triggered this? That like, all these positives, why is it not good enough? Is it a me thing? And how can I fix that for next time?
Gotcha.
In your opinion, what do you feel that some of the top qualities that every real estate agent in this profession should possess in order to excel in this competitive market?
I mean, negotiation tactics fully. I got my negotiation certification right before the market changed. And that was a huge help because trying to find, I mean, you can't just go by the old strategies anymore. There's so many different unique ways that you could do things and make things happen. You just actually have to look for them. And so it's not going to be just a cookie cutter thing anymore.
Sure.
That's one thing. Definitely being genuine. And I just think because COVID really changed people where they realized how much they needed human interaction. And that's why when everyone tells me like, oh, are you worried about AI taking over like your job? And I was like, no, people want people. People want real. They want to like touch something. Like it's not easy. Like how can an AI show you homes? I'm sure they'll figure it out one day, but having that real genuine connection with someone. And I feel like that's what like I'm trying to make different, because that's not a normal thing for real estate agents. But that's what gives you that referral. Like that's what gets you that lifelong client, not just, they did really great. Yeah, I'm sure they'd be really great. But I'm sure if I went, and had dinner with them, they'd probably switch. And confidence is huge too. When I first started, I I was nervous. Like in those videos, you could tell, like, I just didn't know what I was doing. And educating myself and giving myself that confidence and knowing what I'm talking about. Like I've literally had Zoom calls where they're like, oh, do you sign like a buyer's agreement with me? And I was like, oh, you won't want to go anywhere else. And if you do, you'll regret it and you'll call me back. Like that was the confidence level, was just like, this is what it is. Like, you're going to like, we're good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Got you.
Good.
So now, Demi, sorry, go ahead.
But I was going to say, we were talking about the pandemic, and I know you came in a lot of stuff had already. Yeah. What were some of the things, because it was still going on, what were some of the strategies that you had that you put in place to kind of help you navigate around all the stuff that was going on? What were some of those things?
I didn't have to deal with many of like the shutdowns or anything like that. And I wasn't selling. Like I literally was just trying to market myself as much as possible. And once we did get to the part of that, it was really just marketing. And all I could do was marketing. That's the only way I navigated through it, because I think I sold maybe my first year. I think I only had like 6 transactions.
Got it.
Which is still good. Like I understand that there's some agents who are like, I sold 1 house. And so like, I get that, but in a market that still was like pretty warm at times, I just navigated through social media, and that's what got me all my clients. That's what gets me all my clients still.
Got you. So now, Demi, you've came in a couple years ago. You've seen the highs where houses are coming off the market faster. Nice. You can put them on the MLS. That is pretty nice. That does.
It felt good.
Yes, it does feel good. But now you're seeing, like you said, 50, 75 days on the books. Yeah. So what are you telling those other agents who think that, they've came in the same time you came in, and they may not have had the same amount of success as you had, but they're still in the game trying to get through and get through it? So what are you telling those agents from your perspective?
I mean, I've even like sat down with some agents. My eventual goal is I want to coach so bad, but I also want to have the success underneath me before I do. But I sit down with them and I was like, all right, let's talk. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing differently? What makes you different? At the end of the day, you're the product. Like, are you kind of an enticing product, or are you just trying to replicate another person?
Sure.
And so that's really helped. Or, how's your follow through? Like, okay, you're worried about, and I do strategize with days on market. So if I have like an actual agent, like we're like, hey, how do we do this? How do we strategize? Because each market's different. In learning that and talk, I was worried about I called every single agent in the area and was like, hey, what's your showings? Like I wanted to know and everything and get that education. But I mainly in like find your own like spot, find you in the industry, because you're in it. So you can exist, but it's finding you and being bold about you, because you're just gonna feed into the background if you're just gonna do the same mundane thing that everyone else is doing.
Yes.
And so I've talked with them and talked about niches, and they're like, I'll do moms. And I'm like, that's way too broad. And so I'm like, you need to like find something that kind of fits your little spot and that you love to do, because you want to love to do it. And so I've just been helping other agents just kind of figure out where their niche is. And also I've had some hard conversations where I'm like, is this even the industry for you? Like based on what you want to do? Like, I'm like, okay, well, go back to the basics. If you can't find out what you want to do, or like you can't find your little spot, go back to the basics. Door knock. I don't want to door knock. Okay. I was like, cold call. I don't want to cold call. Do open houses, but they're just a waste of time. And I was like, so it just doesn't sound like you want to be in the industry. And so like, really just like, you have to give hard reality to people too. My cousin wanted to get his real estate license, and I was like, walk through me with a day. And he's just like, why do you do this? And I was like, I love it. And I was like, I genuinely do. I'm a problem solver, and that's what I do for a living now. And but yeah, I try to encourage them, but if it's like when there's only so much you can help someone, you can't tell them to drink, you can't shove the water in their mouth.
Can't do it.
And so you just kind of be like, I'm here if you need anything or advice or strategy, and we're here. Or if you ever want to shadow me, like, let's do it. But it's really helping, making sure that they do the work as well.
Gotcha.
Demi, you talked about coaching, and that's huge on this platform that we like to talk about. One, do you have a coach, and how important is coaching to you?
So I recently got a mentor because I'm poor. I wish I had
You
money.
couldn't say Becca, what you say?
I'm poor.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm poor. I'm not really poor. I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed with everything I have in life. I haven't found a coach that I really like connected with. I've interviewed a few,
Uh-huh.
but I have gotten a few mentors underneath my belt the past couple days. And actually, no, a couple months. Sorry, I've been talking to some. And really just figuring out what I'm looking for in that, and like where I also wanted to know where I wanted to go in my career
Gotcha.
before, paying a mortgage payment for someone to help coach me, because
Uh-huh.
I know the value of it. And I know that at the end of the day, I'm holding myself back, and I need someone to give me that hard reality that I give to other people.
That's it.
And so right now I literally, I was like, I know that question's going to be asked, like, where do I want to go and how am I going to get there? And so it was just like, okay, so that's what I've been focusing on, is like, okay, if you would have asked me 3 months ago if I want to be a team lead ever, I'd be like, no, I'd rather burn. And now I'm like, do you know what? Like, that's a really good opportunity to get
coach.
me a stepping stone to end up coaching. And so like to get that practice. And I was like, okay, so what do I want to do to make sure I'm a valuable team lead? And so like now I'm going online and looking at courses that I could find to be a better leader, and how to really like instruct people. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of coach I want to be, what kind of team lead I want to be, and what value I could add to other people that makes sense to be losing your split. Because I feel like that's where most teams fail. Like there's a product that isn't making sense. Because you could think that you're valuable every day of the week, but selling water to a fish is not very helpful. And so just finding that click and finding those people that are right for it too.
Right.
But yes, I'm going to be getting one. I have some mentors in my life right now who are really helping me through this. And then I'm hoping to get my coach and my broker's license all in the same time zone.
Gotcha. Okay.
What's the next 5 years? What's the next 5 years?
Probably a team. I'll definitely have a team. I at least want 2 people with me by then. And most likely just a listing coordinator and a buyer's agent. That's Demi replicated almost. Doesn't have to be perfect, just a little bit. And then I'd have my broker's license. I don't want my own brokerage. Of course, again, like I said that one time when I was like, I'll never be a team lead. But as of right now, that's not the direction I want to go. It's more of the getting really frustrated of every time that something's going wrong in a transaction, me saying it's really the other agent. And I have to like say that, like it's come up too often that I'm like, okay, I want my broker's license because I want to be as ethical as possible. I want to be as educated as possible. That BK next to your name really does matter to people. And it matters to me because I do want to learn. I do want to know more. I'm fascinated by the legal side of real estate because it's just like there's so much in it and that goes into it and there's so much that isn't abided by that I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then it'd be nice not to have to call my broker every 5 seconds that I feel like, is this right?
So you want it more from an educational
Correct.
piece than a career piece.
Correct. I would love, people have told me, and like, I know that like it might happen one day, like once I get it, like once you get there and you're like, oh, okay. But right now it is really just education and just knowledgeable and being able to give the best information to my clients, represent them the best I could. And also just as a team lead to be able to give that education source and help build good quality ethical agents back in the industry.
I got you.
So now, Debbie, I want to ask a question. So what has been the probably 1 or 2 things, if you have 1 or 2 things, what has been the biggest challenge for you in being in real estate?
Confidence, getting over myself, videos. And confidence goes a lot. Like, you can't just grab confidence but not work on yourself. And so I mean, videos, like I hated videos. I hated being on them. I could never imagine doing as many as I do. My husband's friends roast me all the time, but I sell homes. And so like it works and people are connecting with me and that's perfectly fine. And I'm glad.
Yes.
But really having to know like that I'm able to tell clients, like, you're going to want me and like truly believe it, like know that I'm a better agent than like what they could find or their cousin who just got their license. And so it's just like knowing that I can do it. And that really changed the game because it went from, I even was like, oh no, I can never do listings. Like I'm just a buyer's agent. Like it's what I'm good at. But then I'm like, actually, no, that's not true. Like I could be a really good listing agent. Wives are the ones who really make the decision half the time. So I'm like, I'm really good with women and like moms and everything. So that's definitely one challenge that I really had to go over was confidence and getting over myself. Like it just, I feel like we're so wrapped up in our image and how we look and how people portray us. And I got over that and just, I did me, and people like it, and people who don't, they haven't told me, but they can go on and not like it because it works.
So let's stay right there for a moment.
Like, go ahead.
How were you able to get over that?
Yeah, that's what I want to get into. Yeah.
It's to get over it. One, educating myself, because if I know what I'm talking about, I'm going to be able to back it up.
Okay.
100%. So like if I'm talking about educating people in the buying process or the selling process, I have to know that whether I've done it a lot or not. Like I'm sure, like I told my seller one time, I was like, I'm sure that you've talked to agents who have sold hundreds of listings. I have this many, but this is my strategy and how I'm going to do it, because how you're going to do something, no matter how many times people have done something, it doesn't mean that it's their expertise.
Sure.
And so just really
knowing your stuff.
Knowing my stuff, like that's what really, really helped, because, and it wasn't because someone else was training me in, it was because I was going out and searching for it.
Yeah. That's good.
So it's just as if like, you know, you just went to church on Sundays and you're like, oh yeah, I know the Bible. Then really like investing your time in knowing the Bible.
Gotcha.
So your confidence was backed up by that knowledge then, because you had the knowledge, you had the information to back up. So when you was out there,
getting over myself was I started taking care of myself. I go to the gym 4 to 5 days a week, building up that physical confidence. But it really just like, and I stopped doing, when I made videos, I used to say, okay, go. It would take me a whole day to do one back in the day. Cause I'm like, I don't like the way I sounded. I don't like the way I looked. I don't like this or this. And I was just like, who cares? Who really cares? I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And there's been bloopers in videos. I said things wrong. My braces give me a list. Like, I just don't care. No one cares. No one's like, man, Demi's, they just care about again, the education, like the information that I'm providing.
Gotcha. So why do you think that's so hard for so many other agents to get over themselves and to be able to get in front of the camera? Because I hear a lot. Like a lot of people don't want to get in front of the camera. They just like terrified. I mean, like, no, they said the same thing you said. They can't, they like, hate the way they sound, hate the way they look, and they'll just take a full day or a week to do one video.
Two things.
Yes.
One, they're trying to be someone else when they're doing the video. So they're expecting something else. So and I have people who look up to my videos and they're like, oh my gosh, Demi, I can't do what you do. And I was like, you can. You're just comparing yourself to me. And I clearly need to show you bloopers. Like it needs to be you. You can't, I'm not you and you're not me. And so we're not going to make videos the same way.
Yes.
And then, now my brain just went like, dude. But definitely that's one of the things. And then, yep, it's gone. I might find it.
Yeah, but I agree with you, because that's that ego. That's that ego working in your own perception of what you think other people see you as. That's what you're fighting against.
Yep.
That's what you're fighting against. So yeah, that's good stuff. So how many videos a week are you actually doing right now, Demi?
I batch. I do about, so Instagram, I was really, really good at it. Like I actually did like a whole entire social media workshop with my brokerage, and I hosted it, and it was great. I was getting a ton of views. I was doing it every single day for an entire month. I did all the buying process, then I did all the selling process, and I got a ton of views and it was going very well. I was doing one every single day. Some I batched, like I would do like 5, because like once you're in the video roll, you just need to keep going. If you're feeling it, you can't stop.
Yeah.
Or else you'll have to go through that whole entire like awkward, what do I do? What do I say?
Mhm.
But batching it also helps me not overthink it. So I'll probably do like 3 to 4 batches of me, like me content of me saying something. And then I do throw in house tours. And I don't do the house tours how everyone does house tours. I do very trendy ones. It's going to be so trendy, like fun little transitions, I guess is the best way. So going through rooms, I have a really cool like music in the background, and I do quick home tours. This is not for you to like really see if you really love the home. No, if you're even slightly interested at my quick home tour, that's just this fun little video doing different like twists and turns through the home. You're going to ask me to see the home. Because you're like, can you go a little bit slower? I'll be like, more than happy to. When would you like to meet? Like doing those, and that's helped. And then add in some photos throughout the process to like different ways to add value to clients that would make sense. That looks different than everyone else's.
That's good.
Gotcha.
So the social media that you have decided to stick to, is that just Instagram, or have you jumped over to YouTube? Or
the YouTube adventure has started. I actually have, like, I could even show you. I have my whole entire list of everything I'm going to be talking about on my YouTube.
Okay, I love it.
Which I have this also in a PDF form as well. I just typed it up the other day. That what are people like? What are people looking for? What do they really want to know? If you were moving to the area, or if you were in the area, what do you really want to know? So I just did main topics that would be very inviting, because people only are distracted for so long. And then I've just been doing a ton of research. I want to make sure, like, I almost think that social media has different levels. I feel like TikTok, you know, if you say a bad word, or if you're unprofessional and you're just like silly, that's TikTok. Instagram, I feel like, is a little bit getting like, okay, well, you could be you could be a little bit more fun and like do you, but then YouTube, I feel like, is like LinkedIn. Like, I feel like it's very like professional. It's a huge search engine that people use. Instagram, people still understand that, you know, my mom and my toddler's probably going to have food all over her face when I'm taking a picture. And so it's just like, that's reality. But then YouTube makes it where it's just like, hey, like, I'm really coming to you as a professional, and I wanted to make sure it was perfect. And I had to get over myself, and I'm like, it's not, it's the journey, and that's all that matters. And so I strategized to what people would really want, what's different than other agents, how other agents in other states and other cities are doing it successfully. So then the education part of it, where I'm researching how to be and have the best YouTube once I blast it.
I love it. I love it.
Got you. So let me ask you a question. Yeah, I had a question. So really quick. So aha moments. What aha moments have you had since you've come into the business that you were like,
being myself is one of those, like the aha moment where I'm just like, this works. Like, the more I became more of myself and less of what I thought people wanted me to be,
there you go,
the way better real estate got for me, the way easier real estate got for me. Like, now, like, there's instances where I like fall into listings where I'm just like, what? Or I fall into having a buyer just because they're like, hey, I saw your video. Hey, I saw this. Hey, you were so nice the way you commented on their thing like that. And so, like, I almost trip into business. Then before, I felt like I was like, you know, on the side of the road being like, cool, can I have money? Like, you know, like,
how you do it? What you said?
Help me, I'm poor. Like on bridesmaids, like, it was rough. Like, when what I thought people wanted. And that's the issue too. The keyword is thought. Because clearly people just wanted
they don't care. Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That was one of my aha moments. And I mean, just, that was probably my biggest aha moment.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my biggest one. I was just like, oh, me. Okay,
just
this
being
works.
yourself.
That's good.
Or it's not about, oh, that was a big one, and I've been telling everyone this. Because as success comes, people offer you things brokerages offer you things. We're being real here.
Yeah.
They'll call you. They'll tell you everything. They'll buy you a new Mercedes for you to come over.
You should have took that one. You should have took that one. I was playing.
But so there's just a lot that people have to offer. But then the biggest thing was it does matter in some ways where you're at. 100%. I do agree. If there's a split that works best for you and your family, that for finances, if there's a tool that works best at another brokerage, that's great. You're not going to grow if you don't plant yourself. So if you're just going to be a planted pot in a garden, you're never going to grow. But if you actually dig in the soil and get in there and actually plant roots, you're going to grow wherever you're planted.
Grow. That's good. That's good.
Gotcha.
Good.
Gotcha.
Well, listen. Go ahead. You got
one more question. I got one more question. So how has your circle really helped you dig deep into those digging into roots? Have they helped you, or have they provided you any insight or anything like that?
And no, they've really helped me because there's a lot of shiny objects around, and I have friends that aren't even in my brokerage, and talking to them, and really they help you get through real estate, because real estate friends are just so different because they get it. Like if I talk to one of my friends who's not in real estate, she's like, "Oh no, you make a lot of money." And I'm like, it's not. I was like, "Do you know what we go through?" And I was like, "I have psychological damage sometimes." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And but having those real estate friends where you're like, "Oh my gosh, this client," and they're like, "I had that same thing," or the circle of, "Am I where I need to be?" And just giving you just advice about what's really going on, or, "Hey, Demi, I hear that you're going through this." I had someone recommend the Who Not How for me on leveraging your business. And then I've read a couple books. Now I can't think of them because I'm, talking to you guys.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But there's some great books I've read. Atomic Habits is one of them. And that one really helped when obviously shiny objects were being shown to me, because they're like, you're becoming a successful agent. I am proud to say I will most likely be in the top 5% this year, which is phenomenal.
Yes.
And obviously I'm offered shiny, pretty things. And I was just like, is this going to make my boat go faster if I switch? No. Is it slowing down my boat being where I'm at? No. And so it's like, why would I even change where my trajectory is going when it's already it's in the course it's already in. So it's like, it's not hindering anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And so,
That's good.
All right.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
We again, I told you it was going to go fast. I told you. We have to do another show. Because there's so many more ways that we can go with this show. Great content, the way that you was able to expound upon your answers, give pure, unadulterated, just information. I know this is going to be a great show that people are going to watch over and over again. So thank you for just being transparent with us.
Absolutely.
And
I also want to say really quick, thank you so much for filling in at a last minute notice for our girl, Amy Howard. Hope she gets well soon. So definitely thank you for filling in.
I was honored, honestly.
You were what now?
You ain't got to get ready to stay ready.
Oh.
What's that old saying, Maurice? You ain't got to get ready if you stay ready.
Yeah.
You don't have to
get shows you right there that she stay ready.
Yeah.
She stay ready. I love it. So go ahead and get Demi. You have the final words. Go ahead and just kind of share from your heart. Some agents out there listening to you. What would you like to encourage them with on tonight's show?
Be you, be genuine, because business is out there for that. Find your niche, find what makes you happy, what you love to do, and your people will come.
I love it. Again, thank you so much for being on our show tonight.
Absolutely.
Real Talk and Real Estate. If there's anything that we can do for you and anything that you got going on, please don't hesitate. Just give us a call and we're there. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Maurice, you have any final?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. No, man. You want to go ahead and close us out like you always do?
Let's do it. Listen, we have another show next Tuesday.
So next Tuesday we have a show with Charlene Russo. I'm not sure if you know her. You probably know her, don't you?
I do. She actually was at Momentum with me for a little bit.
Yep. So she is going to be on the show next week.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But we got an event coming up next. No, we don't. We don't have anything coming up.
Nope.
No, we don't. Okay.
Nope.
So listen, until next time, we got some stuff coming up. So until next time, don't talk about it. Be about it. We out. Peace.
Peace.